King Abdullah Economic City is a massive scale development currently being completed along a huge part of the Red Sea coast in Saudi Arabia. It represents a brand new urban development around the size of Washington, D.C. that spans approximately 180 square kilometers. It is built upon the barren desert terrain, unforgiving sand dunes and rocky landscapes that had remained untouched for millions of years there. This ambitious project is part of a growing number of megacities that look to define the 21st century for Saudi Arabia. But where does Cake, as it's known, sit alongside the other projects? How well is it meeting the targets for populations and investment? And is there a danger that it could remain overshadowed by other new cities in the Saudi state, such as the Line, Oxagon, and Trojena, that form part of the NEOM program? The big question remains whether these new megacities can actually work as a place to lure new families, to make lives and draw in the economic activity that it needs to prosper at the same time. Cake is a pioneer in many senses and can offer some vital insight and data to this question to find the answer. The King Abdullah Economic City is a key pillar of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 program, devised by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This is a long-term initiative that aims to transform the entire area kingdom into a global powerhouse of investment and make it an economic haven for wealth from all over the planet. The main driving force for Vision 2030 is to steadily move away from the state dependence on oil as an income source, making it more sustainable and diverse while increasing the quality of life for its citizens. Observers around the world have noted the irony in building models for ultra-sustainable cities using fossil fuel wealth. It may well be that Saudi Arabia is now looking to redress the balance for over a century of massive oil production and trading. Some stats suggest they have earned figures of almost $8 trillion since the end of the Second World War. Or perhaps it's another clear signal that renewable energy is high on the priority list for countries around the world. Either way, Vision 2030 has some rather large numbers and goals attached to it. It seeks to reduce carbon emissions for the whole area through planting a staggering 10 billion trees. And it says that it will be generating 50% of its energy from renewable sources by the end of 2030. Interestingly, it has also led to some incredibly progressive aims with social reform for the kingdom in mind. The roles of men and women are changing in the Middle East, and Cake wants to be a big part of this revolution. As an example, women are now actively encouraged to participate more in the workforce and have seen a 10% rise to 30% in the last 5 years. Granting women the right to obtain driving licenses and attend sporting, cultural, and entertainment events and venues has also loosened the restrictions somewhat, with Vision 2030 so dependent on encouraging all of the population to engage with the facilities built into new locations such as Cake. The development of the King Abdullah Economic City began in 2005 at a location 100 kilometers north of Jeddah. It was chosen specifically for its proximity to the Suez Canal, with the potential to open up a thriving logistics hub connecting Europe, Asia, and Africa. The King Abdullah port that acts as the jewel of the Cake crown here is perhaps the most advanced strategic seaport anywhere in the Middle East. Opened in 2019, it is built to handle a total capacity of 25 million 20-foot equivalent units, or TEUs, every year, with the capability to accommodate ultra-large vessels with berth depths of up to 18 meters. It's also notably the very first privately owned, developed and operated port in the region, making it the perfect example of Cake's alignment with Vision 2030. Almost all types of cargo pass through the King Abdullah port, including bulk, container and roll-on, roll-off goods. And it has been so successful that in 2021 it was ranked as the world's most efficient by the World Bank due to its advanced technology and logistics operations. The next generation smart gate system automatically verifies the identities of all drivers, vehicles, and goods at the gates of the port using AI and machine learning. This dramatically reduces congestion for entry and exits. A secure digital network then runs a port community system that facilitates real-time information amongst port operators, customs officers, and shipping companies to reduce all admin and prevent costly delays. This means that the King Abdullah port is already capable of more than double the capacity of well-established and tech-focused international cargo hubs, such as the Port of Los Angeles. Very impressive for such a short space of time. It is, however, always the people that determine a city's effectiveness and ultimate success. The way they live, work, and move around a location has the biggest influence on whether it becomes an attractive proposition for others to join them and help it grow. Cake was initially tasked with a target of around 2 million people to eventually live and work there. Unfortunately, the 2024 figures suggest that Cake has only managed to attract 10,000 new residents so far. This is a real blow to the overall success of the project so far. The luxury villas and waterfront properties of Al Muruj neighborhood are significantly higher than homes in Jeddah and are clearly struggling to draw in the demographic they need to prosper. And even with the family-friendly community of Al-Waha offering price point incentives that make them more cost-effective than comparable Jeddah neighborhoods, the take-up is yet to really kick in. It was also envisioned that the city would create 1 million new jobs. Again, the available figures suggest that this target is a long way from being met. There are only around 100 Saudi and multinational companies with Cake as their home. Specific employment data is not publicly disclosed, but it is easy to see that the numbers are not adding up as they would be. Without the residents and employees needed to sustain itself and develop it into the future, there is a real danger that Cake could become the first folly of Vision 2030. As a mixed-use city, Cake may already be suffering from its attempt to appeal to a broad demographic in a traditional way. The more headline-grabbing projects for Vision 2030 seem to have more focus and understanding of their selling points, and it seems that these potentially exciting, brave new worlds are having an impact on Cake's own success. The line is envisioned as a 170-kilometer city without roads or carbon emissions that intends to become home to 9 million residents by 2045. It is built on the innovative philosophy of vertical living, where all essential services can be accessed within a 5-minute walk. Oxagon is to be developed as a floating industrial city straight out of the pages of science fiction. This will be the home of advanced manufacturing, AI, and automation technologies, all powered completely by renewable and sustainable sources. And Trojena is pitched as the finest tourism resort in the world, with year-round skiing, hiking, and water sports, all supported by luxury properties in the mountains that showcase Saudi Arabia's incredibly beautiful landscapes. With these three on the not-too-distant horizon, it's easy to see how Cake can be viewed as old-fashioned and outdated. The billions and possibly trillions of dollars of investment that will be required to make all these projects a real success may flow into the more sustainable and futuristic ideas and away from the old-world business city of Cake. The King Abdullah Economic City was always considered as a new development of the older tried and tested methods of creating a city. The all-important younger demographic may look more likely to be enticed by these world-leading and revolutionary designs, waiting to see which fulfills their potential before making the decisions on basing their businesses, families, and lives there. For now, there is still evidence of growth in Cake's economic output. But with such close proximity to Jeddah, it may also be suffering from its commutable distance. Frequent trains only take 30 minutes, with the drive being around an hour, so the jobs there don't necessarily depend on communities being built to support them. It may take some bolder new strategies for this new city to really begin to flower. The Royal Greens Golf and Country Club is already picking up some interesting accolades as both the best golf course in Saudi Arabia and the best golf course in the Middle East. So much so that it now hosts a number of prestigious international tournaments. Diversifying itself towards the recent trend of the Middle East as the premier destination for major sporting events could definitely be one option for the future of Cake. Although, when the stadiums for the 2034 Soccer World Cup were announced recently, it was interesting to see that 3 are to be in Jeddah, with the only Vision 2030 city represented being the ultra-futuristic NEOM Stadium to be built in the line. By then, we will all have a better idea of whether the King Abdullah Economic City is destined to be a winner or a rather expensive own goal for the Vision 2030 program.
Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to stay updated with our latest content. And while you're here, why not check out another one of our exciting videos? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.